Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Cheap Seats podcast. We are on to episode 18. We have Clash at the Castle this Saturday. As always, we're going to be covering the most recent Raw and SmackDown, and we're going to be discussing a little bit of the match card of Clash at the Castle and what we think will be happening in and around the event. Joining me, as always, is the co-owner of the Cheap Seats, Orca Shield.
Hello, thanks for having me. I should be your rightful champion now after the last PLE, but we got a moany little bitch champion that took his prediction.
Hey, let that go. Let that go.
Getting this demonetized straight away on YouTube.
Yeah.
But
well, shit.
We're not eating this week.
No, that's okay. I've had my one single caramel latte, so
we're back on rations.
Yeah, that's fine. I think I've got some stale cookies laying around somewhere.
Before we get too heavy into the podcast, because I know these go on for a bit, I will say, I taken it away from wrestling for a bit, peeling back the fourth wall. I applied for a job at work, and apparently we're going to know by Friday if I become a manager. So there is still like an hour and a bit left of work time for Thursday as we record this. So if my phone rings at any point, I may have to just like dip, and you can just be the one doing a solo podcast.
That's okay. That's all right. I talk to myself a lot anyway, so yeah. I thought that was it. I thought your phone just went then. I was like, oh, okay, he's just stopped talking.
No,
all right,
no.
Cool.
No, it cut out again, but we're doing all right.
Yeah, all right. Okay, cool. So, SmackDown on the 7th of June, which was last Friday. As of recording this on the Thursday, it was a lot of well, I don't know how you felt about the match card, but I felt like this was a lot of story progression.
It was a better match card than the week before.
Yeah, that was absolute bollocks.
The only thing I will say, apart from one segment, which we'll call, well, there was two promo segments. There wasn't really any matches that built to the PLE coming up this week, which I think is a bad choice. But we'll discuss that a bit closer to the time when we get to that segment. But other than that, it was a good match. Good matches. I managed to watch both of these because I've been on night shifts, so it means I can watch along live.
or unlucky you, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, it was. I do think that it was a solid show from start to finish. I do think that they are struggling with the. I said it last week. I think they're struggling with how quick these PLEs have been coming because we had Backlash, then King Queen of the Ring, then Clash at the Castle, and then it's only 3 weeks till Money in the Bank, which we still haven't really had any qualified matches. It's just we've just had Jey Uso so far go, I'm in it. He's just like put himself in.
He's main event Jey Uso. He's allowed to be in the main event of a PLE. Fuck's sake. Imagine that. It's like we haven't started picking yet. I'm in it. What makes you say that, Jay? Because I made event Jey Uso. You. Oh, okay.
But if you win, it's going to be main event Money in the Bank Jey Uso. That's never going to fit on our little plaque that we have for it.
Yeah. That's not. Yeah. Do you realise how much print that requires on a T-shirt? Although that would be quite cool because they could do like where Kevin Owens keeps like he has his like KO Mania and he keeps just putting like another sticker over the old one and it kind of looks I really like that. So and they could do it with main event Jey Uso, but then right like in really small lettering underneath like Money in the Bank as well. Mr. Money in the Bank. I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, let's go into SmackDown, all right, and then we'll discuss a bit more of the potential Money in the Bank, especially because we're going to be talking about Clash in the Castle afterwards. So, I don't know why they're doing this at the moment, but SmackDown opens with a recap of last week's SmackDown.
Yeah,
or notable moments.
They're trying to obviously cement that, hey, we do long-term storytelling now. This isn't just a one-off weekly show.
Yep. Definitely has that feeling.
But yeah, and like I say, at the minute, it feels like with the amount of PLEs we've got, that they're just trying to arrest as many people as possible. So it feels like they're just going, yeah, let's just do a recap. That'll kill 10 minutes of the show.
Which they don't need to do because it's only 2 hours.
Yeah.
Thankfully. Because 3 hours of wrestling is a lot. So, Bloodline takes center stage. This version of the Bloodline takes center stage. They officially welcome Tongaloa into the
Tongaloa's
Bloodline
anointment ceremony.
That's right. Paul Heyman doing some fantastic character acting there. It's brilliant. Like, just he's a bit unsure. He's a bit nervous. Roman's not here. Yeah. So yeah, that feeds into my long-term booking narrative of, at some point, Roman's going to come back and be like, "What are you doing? This is my wise man. What are you doing?" And then Paul Heyman's going to be like the Judy Bagwell of this of this feud. For those of you that recognise, thank you.
What you're saying is around whatever the PLE is in,
whenever it is,
in August, September time. I think they go back to Saudi as well around then. Maybe, I don't know. Because there's a bit of a weird gap where it goes SummerSlam and then I forget every single PLE until Survivor Series in November. I have no clue what happens in that little window.
I'm guessing Night of Champions, Hell in a Cell is around that time, because
that's October.
A single match got its own card, which is bonkers.
But what I was going to say is, in one of them like weird like B pay-per-views or PLEs in the middle, you can have a Paul Heyman on a pole match, is what you're suggesting.
Hey, they did Enzo Amore in a shark cage.
And the pole is a custom-built statue of someone doing that, and he's on the finger, just hung up on the finger, just dangled there in a suit. Just get me off. No, get me off the statue, don't just toss Paul Heyman off in front of a live studio audience.
I don't know. He was in ECW. I've seen weirder shit. Straight up murder, but or attempted. So, okay, there was a bit more to just anointing Tongaloa into the bloodline. Tama Tonga was named Sikoa's right hand man. A bit like going back to how Roman Reigns did the same thing.
Yeah.
So. But Paul Heyman was, looking very uncomfortable. Brilliant character work. Kevin Owens comes out. Just decides
carry on this feud.
Yeah, just decides to try and attack the entire bloodline on his own. Gets in a few shots, and then the Street Profits, because they had nothing to do. They were just chilling backstage and saw this and went, "Oh, that's not right," and they went rushing down, at a very slow pace.
I like to think on Thursday that Kevin Owens was just sat at home and flicking through like his cable, as they call it in America, and just came across 300, and he was like, "I'm going to do that tomorrow. I can take them on."
Yeah, just start Spartan kicking everybody.
Yeah.
Street Profits came down and made the save. Didn't lead to anything other than just keeping that going.
Which set up your main event for the evening.
It's classic, isn't it? Yeah. They make the mistake of setting up the main event in the first 5 minutes by having some sort of thing like this. Then we had Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill taking on the Job Squad of Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae.
It was.
I don't know what to think.
This is just a match to set up the match at Clash of the Castle.
Yeah.
Because right as the opening bell start, it makes no sense because right at the opening bell, both Alba Fire and Isla Dawn and Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark all came to the ring to watch.
Yeah.
But they're against each other as well, but they were just like sauntering down to the ring together, like, yeah, let's go watch this. Let's watch
Yeah,
this.
but you have to
We'll
remember
compare
it's
notes.
just. Well, yeah, but yeah, compare notes, yeah, because technically the two teams are heel teams, and
Yeah.
it's kind of I kind of like how this. Okay, so taking a step back for a second, as a wrestling fan, we know how it works. Okay, we get it, but it's nice to see the bad guys, even if they're going to be competing against each other, to be on the same page. Like with Randy Orton and Kevin Owens against Logan Paul, even though they're
Well,
in a triple threat,
yeah.
they were like, "No, let's fucking beat the shit out of this guy first,
I
and
was
then we'll do our thing."
for now anyway. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it for Raw on what happened there.
Well,
But
yeah, sorry, I might be speaking ahead of myself, but but it kind of felt like that. Like, so okay, even though they're both heel teams and they will be facing each other, they're like, well, let's not do anything silly. You know, we're gonna just observe.
we're just gonna sit back, watch this, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah, yeah. Like it's smart because of course, if you're the bad guys, you would work together regardless, because one of you wants to win, and then one of you will betray the other, and you know, it's very
Yeah.
Shakespeare, very Shakespeare.
The only other thing I'll say, because obviously we'll get to it, because the whole match set up for after the match where uh, the other two teams, the heel teams, ambushed Jade and Bianca,
Yeah.
who won this match, and beat them down.
Yeah.
And then Jade and Bianca fought back and took on all four women to show how strong they are. But the thing that I don't like about this booking is literally 2 weeks ago, there was a PLE in Saudi Arabia, and we know that WWE do not care about the Saudi Arabia shows. It's just a money grab for them. But
It's a fantasy. Yeah.
How can you have an absolute amazing match on the pre-show between these two teams where Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, for a long period at the start of that match, were beating down Bianca and looked like they were going to win? Instead, then 2 weeks later, it's a squash match. It made no sense as to what that booking was, why it was just like, yeah, we'll
Because
feed
this
these
is
two.
because
You pair her backstage, go over there.
because this is in America where the stories actually mean things, and the balance of the characters returns. It is, you know, it's like they released a nerf patch for Bianca Belair just before they went out to Saudi, but then they realized the mistakes, so they reverted the patch when they got back. If we were talking video game terms, that's literally what it is. They nerfed her before she went out, getting her ass kicked, and then they were like, "Oh, whoops, we didn't mean that," and reverted the patch. But you know, yeah, I thought it was ridiculous. Why did they look so strong to then get squashed?
Yeah,
It makes no sense, but I'm sure there's more to it than we're aware of. It might just be that they're like, oh, we don't know what we're doing. We don't know. It's the women's tag. Anything can happen. Shawn Michaels and Triple H could come out and win it next week. We don't know. So just quickly, there was more QR codes, more Wyatt 6 teasers during a backstage segment with Heyman and Sikoa.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff. Apparently,
they have to pull the trigger on that soon.
Oh
it's
my
not
God,
going to
they
be.
have
It's
to,
not going to
haven't
be
they?
Clash at the Castle, but like when Bray did it, when Bray was coming back with the White Rabbit, it was interesting. Had people hooked for so long, but now that Bray is sadly no longer with us, it's sort of like, okay, you'll carry on his legacy, but the fans are starting to go, well, we know it's going to be Uncle Howdy or Bo Dallas that comes back to Ping.
Or
They're like, just
dual
do it.
personality thing.
Yeah. They're like, at this point, they've dragged it on for what feels like 3-4 months now. And no matter how good this story's going to be, and with all due respect, Bo Dallas is not Bray Wyatt.
No, he isn't.
I don't think he's going to have the same sort of charisma that Bray did. He might, because I know he had the Bo Leave stuff, which should have done a lot better than it did. but at the same time, just Bray had the charisma, and Bray looked terrifying, whereas Bo just looks like a
Yeah.
Bo. I said bro at first. Bo is someone that you would take home to meet your parents. He's just this like,
He's nice. He's got that nice
yeah,
guy. Yeah.
yeah,
The thing is, the Bo Leave stuff worked in NXT because the NXT fans are they're more like wrestling, like hardcore wrestling fans. They allow themselves to join in with the gimmicks. They don't judge the gimmick and go, well, that doesn't work. Because look at how is it Adam Rose?
yeah. The Rosebuds.
Yeah, and then the other fella after that was exactly the same character after him. No Way Jose.
Yeah,
Yeah, both absolute dog shit characters as far as why are they wrestling, right? But NXT allowed them to do it, and they were like, "Yeah, this is fun. It's just silly. It's fine." You transfer that to the main roster where everyone is like this super serious, like fighter, killer kind of person, right? And it doesn't translate. And Bo Dallas's Bo Leave, like his whole sort of like the running around the ring with the thumbs, like it works in NXT. It didn't translate to the main roster, especially around the time where he did come up to the main roster, because the casual fans who watch Raw and SmackDown don't get it. They're like,
yeah.
well, this is silly, you know.
Do you know, do you know who
So
I feel sorry for in all of this? Is Dominic Mysterio.
okay,
Because you're eventually going to have the Wyatt Six debut, and I'm not sure if they're still together, but I know if they are, then obviously away from wrestling, Bo Dallas and Liv Morgan are together. Now
oh,
Bo Dallas has
okay.
been sat at home watching Liv just like rub herself against Dom, and he's going to come with five other of his merry men. And poor Dom, who's want none of this, who's just got married, is going to get absolutely steamrolled when the Wyatt Six turn up.
I mean, yeah, yeah. If we blur that line, then yeah, that you would assume so. You would just come in and be like, "The fuck you doing?" and just like,
Just like
yeah,
grabbing Dom's own hand, slapping him around the face, and go, "Do
yeah,
you believe now?"
yeah. I mean, yeah, but the thing is I know I know we've completely segued away from SmackDown for a moment, but it's important because I feel like they do have to pull the trigger soon. They have to do something of substance soon. The Twitch thing, fantastic, very analog horror. I loved it. The leaks about who is going to be in the Wyatt Six and the little teasers like the QR codes they're giving out is very cool. It's very new. It's like, you know,
Yeah,
but you're right. There's only so much suspense that people will allow before they go, "Oh, I'm over it." It's a bit
I've
like,
just
sorry, go on.
I've just had a thought as well, which it's not going to happen. I'm going to say this now. This is not going to happen. This is pure fantasy.
Okay.
But one of the rumored people for the Wyatt Six is a certain Scottish girl.
Yeah.
Imagine if the lights go out during Bailey's match, and the Wyatt Six or a member of the Wyatt
Oh,
Six
okay. Yeah.
could come out
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just have
Yeah.
just
Nikki
have
Cross.
like have
Yeah.
a QR code right at the start of Clash at the Castle,
Yeah.
and it's just like you can have like all of like images, like weird spooky images, but all like Scottish like
Yeah.
spooky images, like
Yeah.
because there must be legends, Scottish
Oh,
legends,
there is. Yeah.
like
They've
horror and
got.
stuff like that.
Yeah, they've got tons of
Yeah,
folklore.
yeah. So you could
Yeah.
have like loads of that, like play into the horror side, and then during like Bailey and Piper's match, because we've touched it. We've got our predictions that's going out on the channel. Watch them. But we've both touched on that, and we both think that unfortunately one Scottish girl is going to lose, which is Piper Niven, is
Yeah.
going to lose to Bailey. But I feel like while Bailey's celebrating, the lights could go out, then Bailey gets jumped by someone in like a black veil,
Yeah.
like a thing, and then as the lights come back, like back up, or the lights will come up briefly, and you'll see the black figure, which is Sister Abigail. And then as the lights go out again, they come back on, the ring's empty apart from Bailey, and lying next to Bailey can be the doll that Alexa Bliss used to carry as well.
Okay.
They could bring back two of the women, because I think the Wyatt Six is going to be four men, two women.
Okay.
And then you'll have a tag team in the men, which I think will be Dexter Lumis and Joe Gacy.
Okay.
Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross getting their tag team back on
Okay.
as the women, and then you've got Bo and Eric Rowan as the other two.
Okay.
But
I
it
mean,
would be good because you would get
that's what
something
I
from the
meant about
Wyatt
the
Six.
spoiler about saying
Yeah,
who's going to be in it.
yeah,
But but I mean, with all that being said, that sounds like a fucking great stable to me.
yeah. But I think
Um,
that you could, because like you say, it's dragging on a bit, so you need to do something special. And I
yeah,
think if you're going to have a Scottish person debut one part of the Wyatt Six, although the only thing that's making me think that that's not going to happen, much less it wouldn't, I think the first person you're going to bring back is Bo Dallas. I don't think you're going to start with the other stable mates,
yeah, because you
unfortunately.
kind of want him to be the focal point, and then the
Yeah.
others come to him, sort of thing.
Or you could like in another way you could confirm that Nikki's in it rather than have her attack Bailey. You could have like a QR code that flashes up and like again it's all the folklore, but then it just cuts to like Nikki in her home or something like that, and then it's just a knock on the door, and then it's like
Yeah, maybe,
whatever it is, or
maybe.
just
You,
like like a follow the buzzards or something like that. Just like sign gets slid under the door or something like that.
yeah, yeah, maybe. I don't. God, I really want for it to. I really, really
It's
want
just
it
it's
to
just
succeed, and not.
something needs to happen which makes people more interested again, and revealing the first member in Scotland as a Scottish person
Yeah,
just makes sense to me that you could easily move on with the Wyatt Six because you need them to debut soon.
the pop you would get for anything to do with like the Fireflies and stuff like that. That would already be a nice pop. People would be excited about that with the QR codes and shit. But for Nikki Cross, then because I think at the moment she's not on a lot of people's minds. Like people aren't thinking about that. So if then she was to appear at Clash at the Castle for something to do with the Wyatt Six, I think that would be monumental. I think the roof would come off that place, regardless of what happens later between Drew and Priest. I think people would be so excited, and they would be like, "Oh my
Yeah,
god," and it would show a bit of class from WWE as well because that's like announcing or not announcing but kind of introducing the start of this super faction, another
yeah,
super faction, but they've started the introduction abroad
yeah,
as opposed to like on home soil. But I do agree with you though that they need they need to do something soon. I think Bo Dallas or Uncle Howdy or whatever needs to be like the focal point, and then the others come to him. So so they all then they all come together, sort of thing. So how they do that, don't know. It'll be interesting to see. We can speculate for a very long time about it, but the stuff they've
yeah,
done so far is good. But like with LA Knight, he was so ready. He was white hot last year at Money in the Bank. Like I could not tell you how many people wanted LA Knight to win the Money in the Bank, but like we said, they sort of book WrestleManias a year in advance,
yeah,
or as close to it. So already at that point by Money in the Bank, although LA Knight was, the hottest thing, people were just, they'd already booked
yeah.
for
So
Damian Priest to win.
it's sort of like a story, isn't it? As you're taught in school,
Yeah,
the story is you start off by getting the ending, and then you work
yeah,
your way backwards. So you get like,
yeah,
how does the story end? Okay, let's see what we can do before then.
yeah,
Get your middle, then you can start it however you want.
yeah, yeah,
But so I think after WrestleMania goes off the air, they go right. What's our end game for next
yeah.
WrestleMania?
Pretty much. Where do we want people to be?
Yeah,
So okay,
back to SmackDown. 'Cause
yeah. So back to SmackDown.
that wasn't so
Um,
much a segue. That was a 2 week trip we just took there.
I mean, it was worth it, but hopefully there's more about the Wyatt Six soon. So then we had a match between Grayson Waller and Johnny Gargano.
Yep. this
And
follows on from the.
I'm sure you were absolutely thrilled with the result.
To be fair, I like all four of these people that are involved. I
Yeah.
like DIY and I like A-Town Down Under. I've said that I think that A-Town Down Under are going to be the face of WWE for a long time because they're both only like 22, 24, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't think. Well, I know Theory is. I don't know how old Waller is, but I can't imagine he's much older.
Yeah. I don't
and
know.
then, but obviously, my boys are DIY, and we had that match last week where Tommaso Ciampa won.
Yes.
So this week they made Grayson Waller win. However, there was a shot right at the end because at one point Johnny Gargano goes for a suicide dive.
That's right.
And much like our universe mode, he missed wildly in a sense that
that actually happened. By the way, I was just sorry, just to cut you off. While we were doing our predictions video, Noam Dar did a suicide dive and just hit the fucking deck. He just didn't hit anyone. Sorry, I noticed it earlier and I was like, I'm gonna have to tell him later. Yeah, sorry, but since you brought it up. Sorry.
But but they had Johnny goes for his suicide dive outside, and Waller sort of pulls Theory into the way, and Theory takes the hit from it. So he misses his target, but still takes out one of A-Town Down Under, and we get then to the end of the match where Waller obviously wins.
Yeah.
And then they've had Tommaso Ciampa beat Theory. Waller's now beat Johnny Gargano.
Yeah.
It's 1-for-1. The tag team match will surely be coming.
Yeah.
Maybe this will be the match that's announced for the pre-show at Clash of the Castle. Because we still haven't had one, but WWE seem to slowly be bringing back that pre-show match.
Okay.
So maybe it's these guys. And if it was, then it would be more tempting to pay the £300 for a cheap seat ticket for Clash at the Castle. Sarcasm into I need to. In fact, oh no, I haven't got a pen for it anymore. I've got the whiteboards here. I was going to write sarcasm on it and hold it up for when I'm.
Oh, okay. Do that next time. Do it next time. That's what you plan for in the future.
But yeah, so I feel like the shot we got at the end was Waller was up on the turnbuckle celebrating with his belt above his head, and the camera panned out slowly, and Austin Theory was sat at the floor just looking up at him like pissed off, basically, that he pulled him in front of the way. So you're getting like a little bit of
friction,
like friction in that tag team there.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens. If it does go on the pre-show, I don't know, but I feel like it's starting to get to the stage now where I feel like both of these tag team champions, they haven't really done a lot. We've said this quite a bit for a lot of the champions recently on WWE booking. They haven't really done a lot since they've won the belts, and I feel like it almost feels like the R-Truth and Miz stuff, although I still find it funny, that's also sort of like maybe running its course now. Like they're doing the jokes each week, but then they get lucky in their like defenses almost.
The tag division on both sides feels really stale.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna give WWE a year, so we're gonna get back around to WrestleMania next year, and I'm gonna examine the tag division then and see what they are planning to do or have done. And
that sounds like a solo video by Ryu coming to the cheap seats this December or next April, sorry, where he sits down and reviews the tag team division. A yearly review with Ryu.
It's 30 seconds long. It's shit. It's fucking shit. They've done nothing. They just relinquished the belts, all of the tag belts. Fuck them off. Nothing. Goodbye. That's it. Start to finish. But yeah, Waller defeated Gargano here. And yeah, you were right. There was quite a bit of storytelling, character storytelling. Then so we had a backstage segment between Carmelo Hayes and LA Knight, two great mic workers. They can talk for days on the mic, and everyone would be, hanging on every word.
Oh, have you got that? I've got it in a different order on mine.
Oh, that's what I've got.
I've got the this is where Cody Rhodes challenged AJ.
Well, yeah. Sorry. So it's really weird the way I've got it. So it's big bold letters. It's got this. And I'm like, right. And then underneath, it then has Cody Rhodes waited for AJ Styles to arrive. Security, da. Yeah. So I say it, and then I read that. I'm like, So, okay, all right, so there was something before that. Cool. Okay.
Um,
That makes me
yeah,
sound like a moron.
I'll briefly touch. I'll briefly touch on it just because it's for the PLE.
Yeah.
But we've Cody Rhodes comes out, stands in the ring, and he's raging at AJ for what he did last week with the fake retirement.
Yeah.
And then so he waits and waits, and then AJ comes out, and he's again flanked by not only the OC but all of the local enhancement talent known as security in,
Yeah.
in WWE
Yeah.
booking.
Yeah. Yeah.
These security men that have never worked a day of security in their life, but also seem very jacked, almost like they're professional wrestlers.
Hmm.
Um, so they all come out in front of him, and Cody basically stands in the ring, and he doesn't cry for a change, which makes a change for Cody Rhodes. But he's very irate and says, "I'm going to make you say what you should have said last week. I quit."
Yeah.
At Clash of the Castle, and AJ accepts, and then he charges the ring, and the security. This is how you know the security have never worked a day of security in their life, because they're all fecking shit. Because there's about 8 of them that can't control 2 men, and they just disperse like the Red Sea while they attack each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Bring back the Shield.
yeah, imagine if they tried that shit in Glasgow on Saturday. You'd just get some random bloke just headbutt one of them and floor them. Just like, we need security out here.
Proper security.
Just like a proper guy who just comes out, just a headbutts Glasgow, proper full on Glasgow kiss, just sends him to the ground. Like, doesn't hurt this much when Drew does it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, Jesus, what the fuck was that? Who's this guy? He's great. He's like, oh, no, he's actually security.
That's just Jim. He's
Yeah.
just fed up with the shit.
Right. So after that, after that segment, we did have LA Knight versus Carmelo Hayes, which is interesting because I would never have booked a match between these guys. But the thing is they were so good on the mic together, like the back and forth they had. It was so good that they were kind of like, yeah, fuck it, why not? So, but. Yeah.
To be fair, it was a good match as well. It was
a really good
I think
match.
it was probably match of the night for me, this one. I mean, both of them can go. Carmelo Hayes is going to be a champion in WWE.
You see when
Again,
he got chucked out the ring, landed on his feet. Like,
yeah.
Oh wait, yeah.
Yeah, he's just insanely talented. He's definitely. I don't think it'll be this year, but definitely next year after Mania, maybe. I think this year will just be him building himself up. And then next year we'll get like a mid card US championship match.
Yeah. Maybe.
Again,
Logan Paul having that belt is great for outside of wrestling, but in the universe it's doing very little.
I seen a stat on, I don't know if it was Twitter or if it was where I seen it now. It must have been Twitter. I don't think anyone else would have had it. And it said current WWE champions. Do you know how long Logan Paul's held the belt for, the US belt?
He's had it for over a year now, hasn't he?
Just under 291 days he had. Right. And do you know how many title defenses he's had for that US belt in that time?
3?
2.
2. Okay, I was close.
2. He's 2 in nearly a year.
Yeah, I
didn't realize, because I know we say that what have they done with the belt, because it's nothing memorable, but like Damian Priest has apparently had like 12 matches for it or something like that. He has actually defended it quite a few times, probably on like Raw or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just, I was looking at it and I was like, Jesus Christ, he's like one of the longest serving champions. I think he might actually be the longest now. Because most of them changed hands at Mania, didn't he? So I think he is probably the longest reigning champion in WWE at the minute, and he's only had 2 title defenses in 290 days.
Yeah, it's not good. As in ring, it's not good, is it? So yeah, not good. Let's move on because we are starting to run short on time constraints. So Bayley came to the ring for a promo. For Clash at the Castle, was interrupted by her opponent Piper Niven and Chelsea Green.
Yep. Chelsea Green's kicking off the segment because she's just perfect at everything she does. She came to the ring like obviously talking on the mic. They cut the music, and then Piper took over. And unfortunately, Piper got the what treatment because the Americans. Well, this is someone that's been booked because she's Scottish, basically, and the
Yeah.
Americans are just sort of like, we don't really care. And this is one of the things that I feel like they've done completely wrong going into this PLE. Like, rather than having this promo where they just sit and talk to each other, I'd rather have had Piper Niven versus one of the party girls in like Katana Chance or
Yeah.
no, Katana Chance is probably the best one. She's like this. I think probably one of the smallest women on the roster.
Yeah.
Where Piper Niven would toss her around basically and make herself look like a dominant threat.
Yeah.
Because at the minute WWE have gone, you're Scottish, you've got a title match. Okay, when was Piper Niven's last singles match?
Yeah. Yeah. Literally, when was it? I think she was still called Dewdrop back then.
Possibly, I don't. Maybe she was in the King and Queen tournament early doors and got beat first round. I don't know, but
Does that count?
Yeah, I don't think she's had many singles matches, so there's not been a single like way to show how good she is in a singles environment, and then people are supposed to go, oh, she can take the belt off Bailey in a week's time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I mean, for what she did get across during the segment, it was good. It was good, but yeah, it does. It's just, it doesn't feel like she's got that presence to go into Clash at the Castle as a legitimate threat. After that, we had the Bloodline 2.0 versus Kevin Owens and Street Profits.
Yeah.
Yeah, they basically brawled the whole time.
So it started off as I have to call it a match because it was booked as one, but it soon just spilled to the outside.
Yeah.
Street Profits and KO started running riot on the Bloodline 2.0. They were doing like the high flyer moves.
Yep.
At one point, you had Angelo Dawkins just do his shoulder tackle and just absolutely flatten Tama Tonga.
Yep.
But then, obviously, this is one where we say it a lot. WWE have booked themselves into a corner because they're like, Street Profits are now face again, and we want them to be good, and they're being these good guys fighting the good fight.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Owens is one of our biggest stars, but we've got him in a feud with the Bloodline still.
Yep.
But the Bloodline 2.0, we can't have them lose yet. So what do we do? If they lose, we'll do it by disqualification. So literally, Sola just grabs a chair and just swings it at, I think it's one of the Street Profits he hits first, and then just goes to town. So he gets DQ'd by picking up one of the chairs and just cracking someone over the back of it.
Yeah.
Right in front of the referee.
Yeah.
But then he does the whole thing where he looks at the referee like, "You what, mate?
Yeah.
You can disqualify me."
Yeah. Yeah.
You literally didn't even hide it. You just clocked someone with a metal chair. And then obviously after that, the Bloodline just end the show by assaulting the three members because they've had weapons.
Well, they put Kevin Owens through the announce desk with a triple power bomb.
Yeah. And then they ran spears onto Montez Ford.
Yeah, that's right. Who sold it like an absolute god because he can.
Yep. One thing we haven't said though, which was I don't know if you want to say good to see or bad to see, whatever your opinion is on it. The Prime logo was back in the middle of the ring since it wasn't available in the Saudi show.
I told you
that's getting ready for its trip to Scotland.
I told you.
And if anyone is going to the Clash at the Castle pay-per-view in Scotland and they have any sort of Prime energy drink that's special for the Scottish event, I'll be your best friend if you send it to our PO box.
Yeah, DM Orca Shield on Twitter and get him a special. If there is a special edition, get him a Prime bottle.
Wait until December is all I'm saying, because if you've noticed, I have changed where I'm sat. I've got a desk here because I've got a brand new PC, and I've got an editing computer there now, which means that my green screen can now no longer really work, unfortunately, because the desk's a bit big. So I do have to be zoomed in, so it's just my head, because I've got like my Pokemon cards just there, which block out some of the green screen, and then the desk there. So I have to get rid of it. But what I have done is sad, I know, but it started off as a bit between the wife and Doxy because they both know that I'm addicted to Prime. So if you don't know who Doxy is, she's in Ryu and I's chat on Twitch when we stream most of the time. And if you don't know who my wife is, I married her. Good. I don't want you to know who she is. But no, so it started off as a joke because I drink loads of Prime. I like it. I know it's not for everyone. I drink a lot of it, and I had a few bottles at my desk because I'm lazy and couldn't be bothered to clean them up. And the wife came in one day and was like, "Are you like a teenage boy or something? Are you going to put fairy lights in them?" But I was on a call at the time with Docs, who were playing Warframe, I think it was. So she started laughing and said, "We should do it. You should get tea lights." So I've actually saved a single color of every Prime bottle, and I'm going to put fairy lights in them and see if I can hang them on the wall behind me.
Oh wow. Okay. All right.
I got the limited edition Arsenal one. And I kept all 12 of them that I bought, and
Wow.
I've got a limited edition Dodgers one. I say limited edition; they're all over the place in America now. But I just thought
It's limited edition here.
Yeah, I was just like, fuck it. If they're going to be arseholes, I'm going to be a stubborn bastard, and I'm actually going to do it.
Right.
So watch this space for December. So if you do go to Clash at the Castle, going back to the original point, and there is a limited edition wrestling Prime bottle that you see, let me know. I will happily give you some money for it. I don't expect anything for free, but
there you go. Yeah,
it would be on my wall.
So going on to Raw now, which was a few days ago.
Yep.
We had the match card. So, am I insane here? 3 matches.
You are insane. There was quite a lot of matches.
So why?
Would you like me to lead this one?
Yeah, please, yeah, because I think my website's had an absolute stroke. Because it's saying that there was 3 matches announced.
I don't know what ones you use. I always use the WWE one. There you go. I'll send you it on.
No, don't worry about it. You carry on.
So
I've got Drew McIntyre kicking off the show, though.
Yeah, Drew McIntyre kicks off the show because obviously we're going to his hometown well, not his hometown, but his home country in Scotland. And Drew McIntyre basically accepted a match with Finn Balor because Damian Priest comes out. Because yet again, Drew just speaks the truth. It's a promo in which they've gone, "You're the heel," but all Drew does is speak the truth. It's like, how are we supposed to hate a man? Because he literally comes out and goes, "You're focused on Gunther at SummerSlam. You haven't got past me yet at Clash of the Castle." It's like how is that meant to be heelish? He's just telling honesty's a heel move now.
People don't like the truth, it hurts.
And then Drew basically says, like, "You've always had the Judgment Day to back you up, this, that, and the other." So Damian Priest goes, "Okay, I'll tell you what. You've got a match tonight against Finn Balor. If you win, the Judgment Day are barred from ringside in Scotland." And that's your main event for the evening. Then is Drew McIntyre versus Finn Balor. Where if Drew loses, Judgment Day, it's Judgment Day rules. Doesn't have the same ring as Bloodline rules, but
it's the same theory.
Yeah, and that's how that ends. But it was a decent promo. I mean, as much as we say Damian Priest hasn't done much, he's good on the mic. I say, Drew is just Drew. He's the best form of his career, I think, at the minute.
Yep.
And he's just, like I say, the only thing is he's telling the truth. What's he supposed to do?
Yeah.
But then we move on to the first proper match of the night, and it's an irate Io Sky versus Lyra Valkyria, which was an absolute fantastic match between these two. Like, I know where everyone was supposed to be like, the main event's going to be big Judgment Day versus Drew McIntyre, this, that, and the other. I think Raw peaked here. This match was so good. That's not a bad thing. The rest of the show was good, but this match, these two women could go. Like, Lyra, not only is she great in the ring, she sells really well. You obviously had the other 2 members that are currently still active of Damage Control at ringside. being just shithouse heels. It got to the end where they kept trying to hit finishes on each other. And eventually, Lyra does hit the Nightwing on Io Sky, and then goes for a pinfall. But as the only thing that made no sense in this match is the ref went full blown Vince booking referee.
Okay.
Like, do you know when brains used to be brains? Do you know when refs used to basically be vegetables, and
Yeah.
just used to be like, all I do is count. I don't know anything. I don't have
I don't
vision.
even know the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
What am I doing?
Lyra,
Yeah.
so Io's like on the ropes, and Lyra just picks her up and slams her down with the Nightwing,
Okay.
which then she goes into like sort of a half cradle pin, but she's sat with her back pretty much against the ropes, not touched them, so it's not a rope break. So that's not what the referee does wrong. And then it's 1, 2, and Dakota Kai just shoves Lyra Valkyrie or
Right.
Valkyria, so she falls over. But the referee's counting the pin, so he's obviously like, to see Io's shoulders, he has to be there, and the pin's taken place here, so he can clearly see that Dakota's just got on the apron and gone, eh, and he just doesn't call for the DQ. So instead, Lyra then just like starts like having an argument with the two women on the outside. She then just like runs the ropes and does a baseball slide drop kick and just wipes out both members of Damage Control on the outside. Before going in and just eating an assault from Io Sky.
See, now I have an issue with part of what you said about the referees, because I don't think it's ever been very, very clear what constitutes a DQ. Because I think attacking the opponent is the DQ. I think interfering like that, like a push, it's not considered an attack. Therefore, it's not a DQ.
You're right, because when they grab legs and stuff like that, they just get ejected.
Exactly. Yeah. But so when if they pull them out like the ring, the referee says, "No, you're gone." Yeah.
Yeah. The thing that should be a DQ for me is the fact that she basically interfered in the match in a sense that was going to be the end of the match, and she just basically swayed it, which to me is her interfering directly. It's not just like grabbing a leg where someone's running the ropes and going, "Oh, I've tripped you up" or whatever.
Yeah.
This was literally I'm pushing you over. This is
See, I think maybe they need to be a little bit more clear about that. I definitely think that's worth an ejection from the arena or from the ringside. I think the referees need a bit more. What's the word? They need a bit more credit. I think they need to give the referees a bit more credit. I think they need to make them a bit more valuable. That's just my opinion anyway.
So Io then basically capitalizes on, because Lyra takes her attention to Dakota Kai and Kairi Sane on the outside. She picks up the victory over Lyra, and then as Io rolls out of the ring, celebrating up the ramp, Dakota Kai and Kairi Sane jump Lyra from behind and start stomping her while she's already down. And sort of do the heel thing. But the only thing I will say, well, there's two more things I'll say. There's one spot in this match which Lyra does it's a weird sort of like, you might know the actual name of this move, but it's sort of like the Walls of Jericho, but it's the other way around. So she sort of, where Jericho would sit and the legs would be sort of between his legs, and he'd be pulling with their body basically behind Jericho's back. Yeah. Lyra does it where she stood the other way around, so the body's in front of her, coming through her legs that way.
That's just a reverse crab, I think.
And then, but what she does then is she locked Io's ankles under her armpits, and then basically grabs her hands and pulls her hands up, and she had her in like a cradle. And Io sells it beautifully. She's just screaming, but then as Lyra's looking at Dakota Kai and Kairi Sane, she just starts swinging her between her legs. Yeah. So you just see Io go she's going back and forth. The mic was only picking her up as she came back. Yeah, it was beautiful, but it showed how strong Lyra is, because that takes a lot of effort. But also it just looked really good. Probably only able to do it on the smaller women in the roster like Io. I don't think she'd be able to do it on like a Nia Jax.
No.
But so we've got that.
Definitely not.
But then after the match, I'm not sure when it was. It was sometime in the later on in the show. It wasn't now, but my rundown doesn't have when this happened. Bizarre things, because Io's character at the minute is just, I'm going to start smashing stuff. Like,
Yeah.
like I understood it the first week because she'd lost the match in the King and Queen of the Ring tournament, so she like put her foot through this little wooden table backstage, the little coffee table. Americans don't have much tea and coffee anyway, so they didn't need it. But then she won a match here, and then backstage she just went mental again and started smashing stuff in Gorilla. It was like
Yeah.
I'd understand if you've lost the match, but if you've won, why?
Yeah,
Just
why?
going backstage
Yeah,
and...
yeah. I think this is. I think they're slowly, very, very slowly building a new version of Io Sky.
Yeah,
I think very slowly, so that when Asuka recovers completely from her surgery and she's better, and then she comes back, and they've already got Kairi Sane there. I think they're going to create a new fact. Oh, they're going to be like a new version of Damage Control, and if they're not going to be called Damage Control, then they're going to be called something else, and there'll be like different versions of their characters, because Asuka's already sort of gone into the new version of Asuka with the face paint and the mist and everything. So yeah.
So we move on to the next match, which was a tag team match. It was the new LWO of Braun Strowman, Dragon Lee, and Rey Mysterio, the monster among Latinos, against Dirty Dom and JD McDonough and Carlito.
Yeah.
Which is, it's good to see Dom back in the ring. His arm must be fully recovered.
Well, close enough.
That bad, yeah. He's still got it taped up and bandaged and stuff, but he's not in a sling anymore, so it must be pretty good.
Yeah.
But the match basically just turns into this Liv Morgan angle again, where Liv comes to the ring, so Dom slides out the ring for some reason rather than just staying in the ring and telling her to get out.
Yeah.
He slides out the ring and goes, "What are you doing here? Get out, go, leave. We don't want you here," this, that, and the other. And then Zelina Vega, for some reason, comes charging through the ring rather than around the ring and just clocks Liv Morgan in the back, which is a very heelish move for someone that's meant to be a face in Zelina Vega. But it basically makes Liv fall off the apron into Dom and then sit rather seductively on Dom. And how Dom did not get a little chub on from this, I don't know what he had to be thinking about his gran or something like that.
He's a professional. He would never let that happen.
He was like, my wife is going to watch this, and I am going to get a divorce 2 weeks after marriage if I do anything here. But I mean, if you've got Liv, the way Liv started grinding him, there is no way to fake that.
Well, there has to be boundaries, right? Has to be boundaries.
But yeah, so the match then, but then for some reason, Zelina Vega didn't want to see Edge and Lita 2.0 and see the Liv sex celebration as let's drop the E, it's like what I did there. So she came out and clocked Liv again while she was grinding Dom. I don't know, maybe Zelina wants Dom, who knows? Like,
don't.
All this is going on. Well, his dad's watching this.
Yeah.
His dad's watching his son who's just been married get grinded on by a taken woman.
I don't know. You have to hope that there's just so much consent from everyone's partners. You know,
they have to have got everyone on board.
Well,
even the ones that aren't signed to WWE,
they have to ask So apparently there was a segment with Otis. Am I right?
There was, yeah. So backstage, they were Sammy was talking to them all, basically saying you're better than this, that, and the other. Again, Chad come out and started berating them all,
but Otis broke the I have no history in this company thing, and he mentioned his former tag team partner and Mandy Rose, and they're both gone. From the company. They technically they don't exist in the universe anymore, but he said about Tucker and then Mandy, and he was like, I was nothing before Chad Gable found me.
I will as well say that I don't know.
He has a point.
It's I mean, it's true, but just going back, we didn't actually say that LWO won that match, by the way. The one before.
Oh yeah.
Braun,
but no one really cares. So.
ran riot. But I think there was another part. I can't remember if it was this week or last week, but there was a really funny segment. And if it was last week, we definitely didn't touch on it, where Liv basically gives Dom her room key for the hotel, and he's sat in the Judgment Day area that's getting smaller and smaller as the weeks go by. They used to have a full office.
Yeah.
Now it's like a merchandise stand, and it just seems to be getting smaller. But they just found a corner in the arena and gone, "We'll set up shop here this week."
Yeah.
This is dark and dreary. This looks like it's something we'll sit. But Dom chucks it on the desk, and then the rest of the Judgment Day come back in, and this is gold. This is comedy 101, which was just fantastic. Because Finn goes, "What's that?" And Dom's like, "Liv was here again. She left me a room key." And so Damien Priest, JD McDonough, and Finn are like, "What? She needs to stop this, that, and the other." And Carlito's just sat there and he goes, "Nice." Carlito's like, "You gonna go?"
Yeah.
Everyone's like, "No."
yeah. Carlito is being the best version of his character that we've seen in a long time as well. Because when the pyro goes off for Judgment Day, he flinched, like he was like, "Oh fuck," So yeah, he's doing that. I don't know if you saw. I think it was this week when the Judgment Day do the thing where they're all like, "Yeah, Judgment Day," and like she did the same thing. She left her card there, and Finn just takes the card and puts it in his pocket, like so sleight of hand. Like Finn's just like he's like, "Yeah, Judgment Day," and while they're all doing the thing like that, he just slides the card off the table and puts it in his pocket.
Well, I think that's actually the story that they're going with, because if you think back a few weeks ago, Liv and Finn both got out of the same car coming to the arena.
Yeah.
And then Liv's always been going for Dom.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like on this revenge tour, but I think there's something going on with Finn that we'll get as well, and then there'll be the package of all these things, like him taking the car, them getting out of the car together.
Yes.
This, that, and the other.
Yes.
But
These
anyway,
things
we'll move
don't
on.
just happen. It's not just a gag. It's
Yeah, we'll move on. So Sami Zayn defeated Otis.
Of course.
Again, it was Chad come out. He was berating his number one guy for not listening to him in the corner. And obviously, because he came up the ring steps to berate Otis, Otis is conveniently in a corner spot where he just gets a haluva kick from Sami Zayn. And then this is where we talked about it in the predictions video. After the match, Otis then flattens Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
And Chad's sort of going, yes, like cheering, and then Otis just turns around and starts walking towards Chad, who starts cowering like a little bish in the corner, like putting his hands up, and then Otis goes to punch him and then stops himself again and turns around and walks out to go towards Akira Tozawa and Maxine Dupree. And the camera then just pans to Chad, who's like cowering, but then all of a sudden has this really big, like shit-eating grin on him.
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, I've manipulated him. That's it."
Yeah, he's like, I've got him. Yeah.
Yeah. But again, it sets up. It's just again a match that sets up for the match at the PLE with Sami Zayn and Chad Gable, where I think we'll probably get a bit of a blow off to this feud in terms that we both went for it in our predictions video. So go check that out on the channel.
Yeah.
But we've both gone for Sami to drop the belt here in
Yes.
Glasgow.
Yes.
And that means that you'll have the summer feud will be between Otis and Chad Gable.
Yep.
We both agree.
Yep.
Which will be great. I think that'll be. I think when
that'll be huge.
Otis, although people love Chad no matter what he does, like heel or face, people still love him because he's just one of the best wrestlers on the brand.
Yeah.
Like he maybe not like the biggest, most like he's still physical. I'm not saying he's like a scrawny guy like Sami Zayn is. He's still got muscles, but he's not. He's not the usual Vince. Yeah. He's not the usual like stereotypical Vince big sweaty men sort of thing. But he can. He's just so gifted in everything he does that like the fans can't hate him.
No,
even though he's supposed to. But I still think that when Otis finally snaps and hits Chad, we're going to get a huge pop.
Oh yeah, when he finally like that's it. Yeah. He's done.
When the Alpha Academy suddenly go like full baby face.
Oh, 100%. They'll be like the next New Day.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens because I touched on this where I think that Chad's going to get the Creed brothers. And then I said, what would you call them? Because I don't know, would you still call Alpha Academy when Chad leaves? Because you're still going to have Otis, Akira, and Maxine who are going to stick together probably. Or maybe they just call themselves the Academy. I don't know. They drop the Alpha because that's a more Chad thing.
It could devolve into one of those things where they have a match for the name. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll move on because I know
it'll probably be Chad keeping the name Alpha Academy. He'll be like, "You lose, you can't call yourself Alpha Academy." You know.
So then, after what we talked about briefly on SmackDown, how the heel teams were best of friends, we then had a match between Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark against Alba Fire and Isla Dawn.
Yep.
Where Baszler and Zoe Stark defeated Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, which again, it feels almost like they've just been put in a match because they're Scottish. And it's in a Scottish crowd because they haven't really been worked on. But this match was deceptively really good. The women stole the show for me.
Okay.
Apart from, there's one more match which we're going to get onto next, which is also probably a match of the night candidate. But this one, this was Shayna of old. Shayna was absolutely brutal in this. She was slamming Alba's arm into the ring post, her legs into the ring post. She was going for her full blown brutal MMA style of I'm gonna snap your arm and legs, your body parts basically.
Yeah. Which is what you would do if you were a submission specialist.
Yeah. And it was good to see because I do like that version of Shayna Baszler.
Yeah.
And I think that the women, if you're born in Scotland, you're basically made out of bricks. You take a beating most days, probably. Right. Just your daily commute to work probably involves 6 fights.
Okay.
Shout out to all our Scottish fans, the 2 that we did have and have just left. But no, you've got. But Isla and Alba. What I mean by that is they are both. Although Alba looks like I said in the previous one with Sammy's age, she's very she doesn't look like the most muscular person, but she is fucking hard as nails. Just the Scottish background. This is just what they do.
Yeah, she's tough.
So she may not have the muscle build of Shayna Baszler, for example, who she's against here, but she could still. She is a tough son of a bitch, as they say in the business.
Well, I constantly refer to Shayna Baszler's MMA history. You know, for being legitimately dangerous,
But Fire was the one that tapped out here to the Karafuda clutch to give Shayna and Zoe a win before going into Clash at the Castle, because this was the go home show for Raw.
Which in my opinion, I think has done absolutely fuck all for their triple threat match. It's done nothing it's done nothing to make it exciting. It's now just a case of, well, neither of these teams are winning.
Yeah.
It's a shame. It's a shame, but that's how it is, unfortunately.
Yeah. The only thing I can think that I know we've both already predicted it. I won't say what we've predicted because otherwise we'll have told you all our predictions in the podcast and you won't go watch that video. But the only thing I'll say in this is the fact that it's triple threat. Anyone can beat anyone, so maybe that is more of a disadvantage. Obviously, we get that because they've built up Bianca Belair, well, not built up, but Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, they don't need to build up. They are 2 of the strongest women ever.
Yes.
That I think it will, when it's their time to drop the belts, if we've predicted it this week, or if it's in the future, I think it will be a multi-person match. They do it so none of them take the pin. Either that or they'll fracture and go against each other. Because I think that'll be a great match of Jade versus Bianca.
Yeah.
There's just no one to beat them, so I think the best way for them to drop the belt would be where they're not involved in the finish. Which is what this triple threat match could throw up, because anything can go in them, because there's no DQ, as we know.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll move on. So my other match of the night, Bron Breakker defeated Ilya Dragunov, and by God, give me Ilya all day, every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
He is just insane. He was suplexing Bron Breakker. He was doing. He was just absolute. You look at Ilya Dragunov and you think, all right, he's basically a muscular cruiserweight. No, he is I mean, pound for pound, I would say
Oh,
he is one of the strongest people on the roster
so I
or on
know
the
some of the
planet.
stuff.
He is. He is just. He is absolutely brutal.
Yeah, he's
But
incredible.
yeah, the match was back and forth. Ilya took a lot. I think Ilya got a lot more offense in than people were probably expecting
Yeah.
because they've built Braun up to be this. I don't want to say monster among men because that's Braun Strowman, and we don't want too many B names with the same nickname. Um, but so because of like Braun just flattening everyone, it was nice to see that someone got offense in against him, and Ilya was just absolutely taken. He took a beating, but also gave a beating, and I think this match shows just how good. Obviously, they've worked together before in NXT,
Yeah.
and it shows that they could do that. And it was a good like spectacle for, I think, the main roster crowd to see what both of these people can do.
Yeah.
Um, but the match ends after a Frankensteiner
Multiple
and then
spears.
multiple spears, and then he gets the in fact I think it ends in a DQ. I don't know if he actually gets the match. Um, it wasn't. He didn't. Yeah, he didn't actually get the pin. So Braun doesn't actually pin here. So it's multiple spears, and Ilya rolls out to the side, the ring side, and he goes to basically the timekeeper's area, and he's getting him pulling himself up on the barrier, and Braun just sees it and goes out the ring, and then does the Braun choo-choo train because he decides to roll out the ring the opposite side
Yeah.
and then take a giant wrecking run all the way around the ring. Which I don't know because I feel like that would make you lose momentum because if you're going full pelt, you're gonna have to slow down for a corner. Pointless. But he goes he goes to go plant Ilya through the timekeeper's area, and as he's running down towards that part, out of absolute nowhere, it's not an RKO, it is a ricochet though, and he just absolutely jumps over the crowd barrier and just flattens Braun, and then goes to check on Ilya Dragunov because for some reason Ricochet thinks a crossbody can keep Bron Breakker down for 7 years. And then Bron Breakker just like attacks and assaults Ricochet.
Yeah.
Basically, we don't see the end to that fight. They sort of get away. Ilya and Ricochet go away together, which makes it look like a team for now. But we'll get to that. But for now, it looks like we're going to get a nice little team forming of Ilya and Ricochet. But then up next, we had a different match first, which was Awesome Truth versus the Authors of Pain for the tag team belts. And this, to me, is where the belts should have been dropped.
Yeah.
Not because I like Karrion Kross in this faction, but because it just made sense. They've been on a tear as of late, the Authors of Pain. But yet again, the New Day came down to the ring to assault. Karrion Kross tries to intercept them.
Yeah.
But he still gets attacked, and then that causes the distraction, so R-Truth and Miz can pick up the victory in the ring. But I don't know what you think about this, but it sort of predicted the match when you see how they came to the ring, because it did the whole camera one movement again, where they were cutting a promo backstage. But for some reason, either it was raining on the way into the building, or he lost his luggage while coming to the state wherever Raw was. Karrion Kross didn't have a shirt.
Yeah.
He's not in the match, but he came down like he was ready to fight.
Yeah, I always find that really strange. I'm like, wait, what? What was? Why is okay? Yeah, weird.
So yeah, the New Day hit Karrion Kross first and take him out. So they're still friends for now, although they've been planting the seeds on Xavier Woods for a few weeks now. But yeah, for me, this is I don't know what your opinion is on the tag belts. I know you said you were going to do your review in a year's time, but
I'm just going to have a look at the division and the state of the tag team. Like who's held the belts, how long for, that's all I'm going to do. But I'm going to wait until like Mania, because that's when they were separated and became their own entities again.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it a year.
I just feel like if you look at and I know that wrestling it's not real. We know that. I know there's a guy out there. It's still real to me, damn it. But
it's predetermined.
we know it's entertainment. There's an E in WWE for a reason. But you can't sort of always just blur reality to what is entertainment. And you look at the Authors of Pain, they should be beating most people just because of their size.
Yeah.
Their size alone should have them an immense advantage over most of that field. But again, it was just, they seem to just be taken out so easily. And since they've just come back, I feel like it was the right time to just pull the trigger, give them the belts. It's the tag team belts, so it doesn't really mean all that much. I know that they tried to make the belts mean something by splitting them up and giving them brand new designs and stuff,
but putting the belts on those two and making them like a Gunther of the tag division would make the whoever then topples them, it would make it worth the while, it would,
yeah, and it would give the others in that faction something to do, because I don't think Karrion Kross is going to get a belt anytime soon. But he's doing the whole thing where he's trying to convince Xavier Woods to leave Kofi Kingston. So you could have that as their sort of like gimmick almost. It's like him being like this cult leader where the Authors of Pain have got the tag team belts.
Yeah.
They'll be defeating people, but as they're defeating these tag teams, Karrion Kross can be like, your partner let you down there, didn't he? Sort of like spreading these like sort of like trying to split tag teams up almost as their gimmick as they go along.
Yeah, like to get in their head,
Yeah, get in their head, like mind games, but also then, because if he's trying to think like, we need this belt to stay on the Authors of Pain for a long time, I'll try and split tag teams up.
Yeah.
So there's no challenges for you. So he can go around every feud and just be like, oh, he let you down there. Like, why are you with him? He's costing you this. He's costing you every match, this, that, and the other, and like, just have something like.
Meanwhile,
I can help you, this, that, and the other.
Yeah, but they keep having matches. They're like, no, I would never turn on it. My my tag team, and like the two of the whoever those two are, can't like they're challenging, they lose, they challenge, they lose. Each time, Karrion Kross is just in his ear, just like, that shouldn't have happened. If you were with us, that would never have happened.
Yeah,
that sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I'm not saying that you would split up every tag team, because then you'd have no division, obviously. But you could have that sort of like, just that whispering, the devil on the shoulder almost, of him going, you could have been doing better than this.
Yeah.
And then who knows? You could actually split one or two tag teams up if you ever wanted to that way as well. Like, I'm not saying like you would ever split up like the Street Profits or something like that. That they're so good as a team. But like, if you had like a team that was like chucked together, then you could easily just like split them up by that. Like, if you wanted to put like two people together randomly, you could then be like, why are you with them? And then they could actually branch off and be like, no, Karrion Kross is right, this, that, and the other. But that's just me. That's just me because I like Karrion Kross and I want to see that faction do well. But what do I know, eh? Right, this is where we then cut back to backstage. I should point out Awesome Truth defended their titles on that. But backstage, Ricochet is talking to Ilya Dragunov, and then he gets absolutely flattened by an irate Bron Breakker.
Yeah.
And he gets absolutely... Ricochet tries to attack Bron first. He starts the assault on him backstage in a stupid way, because he starts it in a car park. So then Bron just picks him up and just like slams his head against the trailer, then picks him up. And the second one he does, by God, I genuinely thought Ricochet was going to be out cold.
Yeah.
Or concussed. Genuinely, I don't know if it was meant to happen the way it did, or if they botched it and got very lucky, because Bron Breakker picks Ricochet up and launches him into the side of a trailer. That part's fine because Ricochet hits it and stuff, but then because Ricochet's not, I wouldn't say overselling's the right word, but he's so good at selling, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
He's like, he wants to throw himself about and make himself like look like he's in a tremendous amount of pain.
Yeah.
He hits this trailer and like sort of throws himself backwards, but it almost looks like the back of his head just bounces off a concrete floor as he hits the ground. because he obviously can't stop, and it's not like a ring mat where you've got. I know it's not a lot of padding they've got, but it is padded.
Yeah.
This was literally a concrete floor that it looks like his head just bounces, ricochets off, if you pardon the pun. He literally, and then but Bron picks him up. I'm guessing they must have had like a little hand tap or something to be like, yeah, I'm okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And he sort of like drags him up a flight of stairs going up to the trailer, and the commentary team's like, what's he doing? What's he doing? And then he just picks him up and just absolutely body slams him through a car windshield.
Yeah.
Which is it's written Ricochet off now. There are 2 rumors for this. One, Ricochet just wants time off.
Yep.
He's been doing a lot. The other one is, and what might be happening, because I'm not sure, is Ricochet's contract's due up.
Yep.
So this might be him being written off for good, and he might turn up on AEW when his contract's up. We don't know.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I kind of wouldn't blame him because do you watch much of the stuff on Twitter?
I just know that he's dropped his speed title to Andrade.
Yeah, he dropped his speed title to Andrade. It's not been aired yet. That's why I was going to ask you first.
Yeah.
But spoiler alert.
Who gives a fuck about it? Honestly.
Yeah. So he's already dropped that belt, and now he's been written off. So if his stuff is ending, I mean, we've seen it before where couples work on each brand, but you would have thought the fact that he's with Samantha Irvin, and Samantha Irvin is the best thing that's happened to WWE in a long time.
And that's my problem, is if he decides to not renew, it's possible that she may decide not to renew as well, and then we lose one of the best announcers that the WWE have had in fucking forever.
Yeah. So that's how that ended. He got stretched out basically after being thinks there was a bunch of like the fake security from SmackDown got here and started issuing Braun to get away.
Yeah.
Again, weirdly though, Braun was literally suspended 2 weeks ago. He then gets his suspension lifted apparently for no reason, just so he can. This should be a suspension if you've just taken someone and launched them through someone's car.
Yeah.
Then imagine the person that belonged to. They come back like, "Where's my car?" Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Don't park it backstage at a WWE event. Simple. Go back.
Yeah.
So going back to the main event.
Yeah, main event then, Tab. It's Drew McIntyre versus Finn Balor. If Drew wins, the Judgment Day are banned from ringside in Glasgow, Scotland.
And guess who won? Drew McIntyre.
Good old Drew.
Yep. Drew McIntyre won. So there is no Judgment Day at ringside.
Yeah, and it ends with Priest and McIntyre staring each other down. Like I said in the predictions video, I'm not going to say who I predicted to win, but I'm going to say there are loopholes in this at the fact that Carlito technically isn't a Judgment Day member yet. So we could get Carlito down. We've obviously still got CM Punk, who's not a Judgment Day member, that hates Drew. So there are reasons that other people can interfere in this match. I hope they don't. I hope we get a clean match.
The amount of boos that CM Punk would get if he goes to
do the old jumping onto the guardrail, blowing a kiss, and then just gets jumped.
Yeah.
That's weird. Faking him out.
Yeah. There would be a murder. But there would be an investigation. I don't know. Do they want to do that? Do they want to insert CM Punk to keep their little rivalry going, and then for him to get absolutely booed out of the building? I don't think so. I don't think they want that.
What you don't realize is there's been an extra thing added to the PLE in Scotland, and that is right at the end. If Drew loses, Drew's going to be like, Punk's going to get lynched if it's Punk that costs him. But then 2 hooded figures are going to jump the barrier, go for Punk, but stop just short, and then pull out guitars and just start playing 500 Miles. And the Proclaimers will play out the show. Much like Tyson Fury did when he sung American Pie. It's now going to be the Proclaimers in Scotland, because Drew can join in then and give the crowd a good thing, and WWE were like, if we got off the air, this will be fine. People won't mind that we're just singing to end a PLE.
No, it's not happening. Not happening. Not happening.
Who else? Biffy Clyro will be there on stage
Oh,
to sing some songs. Twin Atlantic will come down as well. There'll be a party atmosphere because Drew's lost, and they're like, we need all the Scottish acts that we can think of. I can't think of any more Scottish acts.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was Raw. That was the end of Raw.
Yeah, not much else. Well, there was a few things that happened. We had. We'll touch on them briefly because I know we've gone way over. This is not under an hour like last week's was. But we had NXT had their takeover.
Oh, that's
or
right.
whatever it's called now, Battlegrounds New Zealand, yeah, New Vegas, wherever, the Octagon,
New Vegas.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you haven't seen that, go watch it because very good show. But Jordan Grace, I don't have piercings, but my ear was in absolute agony looking at that poor woman. If you haven't seen that, during her match, her earring got caught on the tights of Roxanne Perez, and it ripped the earring completely out of her ear. And there's just blood pouring out of her ear because it's literally just shredded her ear.
Yeah. That can happen.
Yeah, that was painful. It was great matches. Obviously, we had a few MMA style matches because it was at an MMA arena. Shayna Baszler lost in an MMA fight backstage. So they brought back Raw Underground basically, but the NXT version.
Yeah.
Don't know how long that'll stick around. Hopefully 1 week only.
Not long at all. Literally that one thing.
And then the only other thing that I can really think of, which was quite funny, we had the Spider-Man meme, for all of them looking at each other and pointing.
Yeah.
When Cody Rhodes went backstage and went, "You guys look happy now." Yeah. You guys are in the right place now, or some sort of like weird comment that he said.
He said, "You guys look like you're in a good place."
Yeah, and it was Sean Spears, Ethan Page, and Brian Pillman Jr. Yeah,
or otherwise known as Lexis King.
Yeah, so there was a slight dig at AEW in there.
No, I don't think it was much of a dig. It was kind of just like, oh yeah, we all like these guys. Like, oh, it's you. Yeah. No, they didn't say anything derogatory. He just said, "Oh, you look like you're in a good place mentally, mentally and
yeah,
company."
And then the only other thing which was hilarious was JC Jane at the minute is rocking a mask, as we all know. And she's got like this weird like black mask with like almost like a plague doctor's nose on it, which looks like it should be a bloody illegal weapon. Because like if someone runs into that or a headbutt, they're gonna lose an eye. 'Cause it is literally just a point at the end. But Cody Rhodes has a bin bag with him, and he walks up to JC Jane and goes, "Here you go, you could use this." And he hands his mask, and from when he was back in the day. And I can't remember who JC Jane stood next to, but they just look at him and go, and she just goes, "You look dashing in this."
Nice, dashing Cody Rhodes.
Which was it was beautiful. Just Cody's having a great time down on NXT. But yeah, that's it. That's all I've got to say. There's not much else that happened really through the week of wrestling. We've got a lot to look forward to as they're probably on their way to Scotland right now. The Stars.
Yeah, that's right.
SmackDown tomorrow's live, which means it'll be on early, so we can watch SmackDown early. They don't seem to do pre-recordings anymore.
No,
if they're live, it's just sort of like, Americans will have to watch it early.
Yeah,
which is great. I love that. So I think SmackDown's probably going to start at about 6 p.m. for us tomorrow, I'd say.
That's probably about right.
Although actually, that's going to be... I don't know if they can. Can they? It's SmackDown, maybe 5 p.m. I think it'll probably be 5 p.m. I don't know for certain, and I could look, but I'm just going to say I reckon it'll be 5 p.m. because SmackDown's 2 hours, and I don't think they're going to want to overrun at 6 o'clock going to 8 o'clock because at 8 o'clock Scotland kick off the Euros.
Right.
and I imagine they would get 0 audience attendance because most of the Scottish are going to be watching that Germany match at 8 o'clock.
Well, you know that. Well, the thing is if Scotland score at some point, they're gonna know inside the arena, and there's just gonna be a random just.
It's gonna be like a horrific injury to someone, which I obviously don't want.
No,
but
yeah.
I'm just thinking something like really bad happens, then Scotland go 1-0 up against Germany.
Yeah. That'd be hilarious. Oh, good stuff. Right. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
Should we?
I think
Should we end the podcast real quick just by saying who do you think's going to win the Euros? Is it coming home? Is it coming home?
Of course, I'm going to say yes, but no. I think I think France are pretty strong this time around. Germany are looking pretty good as well.
Yeah, Germany in their own backyard have to sort of do well,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. We might have an upset from Croatia.
But if you're just a sports fan in general, it's a good time for football because if you want to have the circle of football in your life, you've got a 2 p.m. kickoff in the UK for Euros, a 5 o'clock kickoff, and an 8 o'clock kickoff for the Euros. Then at midnight, you've got a Copa America kickoff, 2 a.m. a Copa America kickoff, and 4 a.m. a Copa America kickoff. So if you want to have a complete circle of non-stop football for the next month and have 0 sleep, you can watch every single match. And if you do that, then let us know. We'll come to your funeral because you'll probably die.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, great stuff.
Right, that's it. That's the full time.
Right. Okay. Awesome. So make sure you check out our other videos. As we've said, due to not only scheduling conflicts but real life taking precedent over a lot of things, Universe Mode is on hiatus for the time being. We will bring it back. We promise we'll bring it back when we've got a bit more free time between the both of us, and we're not chasing around doing stuff in our own lives.
And I'll say that my new computer's arrived now.
Yes.
Which was a big thing. I was moving stuff around, which means I can start to edit more videos again freely because I've got everything set up. So,
we could try,
and the quiz should come.
Yeah, and we can try you hosting some of the things instead of just having to use my bandwidth.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll test it out. We'll see how it goes. But with that being said, that is all I have to cover for today. I've just started reading through the results from NXT Battleground, so I'm going to go and have a quick read of that before I have to go to work in approximately half an hour.
You're not going to be there long. You're not going to be there long, remember that.
Yeah, I know, but I'm still waiting. So we'll see what happens with that. It's taking its sweet time, and I've not heard anything, so that can only be a good thing. Right, with that being said, it is goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.
Thanks, everybody. See you next time.